the Everton front two testing the Man City defence all over. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's in fine form and he's a real handful, but he's now added the one thing that was missing from his game, and that's goals now. So certainly since Duncan's come in and then Carlo Ancelotti, his game has really picked up. So he's a real handful, and he'll test this Man City back four. There's been question marks about it all season, due to injuries and whatnot. So that will be, I think, where the game will be won and lost. If they stay strong, stay resolute, the City back line, they'll probably go on and win the game. They'll be asked a lot of questions, I'm sure.
5 goals in his last 5 for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but his side don't have possession at the moment, and it's with Phil Foden. And at the moment, it does appear to be that Foden is almost up alongside Gabriel Jesus, but he is definitely on the left-hand side as Mendy comes forward for Manchester City. Spreads play out to the right-hand side, where it's chased down quickly by Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez's ball back into De Bruyne. It's batted down, a bit awkwardly, that by Jordan Pickford on the edge of his 6-yard box, but he gathers at second attempt. Vincent Kompany was to Manchester City. I mean, look, I'm not an authority by any means, but when I was asked about my player of the decade, I can't really think of anyone more important to a club than Vincent Kompany was here at Manchester City. They've given the ball away in midfield anyway. It's with Tom Davies, ponytail flopping behind him. Moves to the right-hand side for Sidibe, and then Coleman to Mina. Heavy first touch, just gave Jesus a sniff, but he worked it to Holgate, who's used Pickford, and he pings one up over the halfway line. Dominic Calvert-Lewin backing into Garcia, and he's just about held on to possession there, giving it to Gylfi Sigurdsson. Everton working it left for Digne, and now here's Fabian Delph at the defensive point of the centre circle. Sigurdsson, Holgate, chip ball diagonal to the right for Davis. Davis got caught there by a combination of Garcia and Phil Foden, and it's a free kick to Everton, and I think they'll probably be fairly pleased with the way this has started.
Yeah, it started quite well. I mean, it looks like Man City almost playing with three centre backs at the moment, with Rodri stepping in alongside Fernandinho and Garcia, so sort of matching up systems to an extent. Obviously Foden playing off of Jesus up front rather than the front two of Everton, but certainly at the moment like they're playing with the three centre backs.
Everton have themselves a throw, and it's officially one of their centre backs that's taking it. Seamus Coleman gets it back from Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson closing in on a potential milestone for himself today. Just 2 goals shy of 100 in English football. He's got 2 more today. Be absolutely delighted away at the champions, of course, as Fernandinho clears away. There's a Manchester City player down. It's Riyad Mahrez. He's picked himself up. He should be okay as De Bruyne sways it out to the left-hand side, and Mendy gives it to Garcia. You're absolutely right. Rodri is the right of the 3 centre halves. Almost any time they've got the ball. That's how it is at the moment. Fernandinho up towards Gundogan. That's a lovely ball to find Mendy inside the right centre-back. Coleman comes back for Jesus, just couldn't quite bring it under his control inside the 18-yard box. Tom Davies clears, but Manchester City win it back, and that was a first sort of half chance to get a good ball into the box for City, and they very, very nearly profited.
That's right, good play. I mean, it looks like now we're matching with the back three as well. It could well be the wing back battle, really. Whoever comes out on top of that is going to be the team that comes out on top of the game.
Attempted ball through, didn't quite find its marker, but it ricochets back for Richarlison for Everton. They now move it to the right hand side. Sidibe waits for some help, gets it from Coleman to Sigurdsson, who's been pretty deep quite a lot of the time so far. And here's Holgate's high diagonal out to the right hand side. Sidibe brings it down, man on loan from Monaco, and there's a pass away from Mendy to Sigurdsson, who's in space. That's a lovely ball into the box. Seamus Coleman's gone on, tried to take it down, then dink it with his left foot from the angle over Claudio Bravo, who did really well to stretch and push it away for an Everton corner.
Well, it was a fantastic effort, really, really good ball through. Great run, Seamus Coleman, a good finish as well. Really deft little lob he went for, but a very, very good save from Claudio Bravo. And this is the beauty of this system, if you like. And Sheffield United have done it fantastically well this year. The wing-backs obviously bomb on, but if one of the wide centre-backs goes forward, no one picks him up.
No.
And Sheffield United have done it brilliantly, and Seamus Coleman did it there for Everton.
Sigurdsson's corner comes in. It was looking for Yerry Mina. Fernandinho beats him to it. It's going to drop to Luca Digne. Comes back to halfway for Coleman, the man that forced that corner there, and that's a lovely ball out to the right for Sigurdsson, but he just had to backtrack away from Kevin De Bruyne. And here's Fabian centre, and he's given that away. Moving it to Garcia. He's got licence to get forward, and he's played a beautiful pass out to the left for Mendy. Infield to Jesus. Back it comes to Gundogan. Gundogan's got Mendy in loads of space out on the left-hand side. Sidibe tries to get across to cut out any potential cross, and he's done just that, although it ricochets up into the edge of the area. Mahrez can't bring it down, and Davis just hacks away. And Everton will be aware and understand that however bad Manchester City are playing by their own lofty standards, there are going to be periods in a game like this where you're under the cosh, just as it feels like they are at the moment.
And you say sort of playing badly, they're not defending particularly well as a team. I'm still going forward. They're
top scorers in the league by a distance.
Yeah, they're a joy to watch. They play some brilliant stuff. In this system today, though, and we spoke about the wing backs, and Mendy's had loads of the ball already, and he's got the energy, he's got the legs to be getting forward. But he needs, for me, he lacks maybe at times that little bit of quality when he's in like really good advanced positions.
Here's Joao Cancelo down the right hand side of the 18-yard box, and it's tucked home for Manchester City by Phil Foden. Given just his 5th ever Premier League start today, the Englishman, Pep Guardiola warmly applauds the interplay, and it was a brilliant ball across, just evading Gabriel Jesus, who thought it might have gone the chance, but just beyond him, back post, there's Phil Foden. Manchester City 1, Everton 0.
Well, I just said about Mendy maybe lacking a bit of quality from wing back. Cancelo put in a fantastic ball right across the face of goal, just evaded. I think Gundogan was the first man coming in for it, slid in, Foden there at the back post to tap it in. Really good goal from Man City, good link up play. Mahrez going wide and then Cancelo coming inside him and putting a fantastic ball across the face of goal.
Phil Foden's first goal in the league this season, and I think it's just been ruled out by the video assistant referee. That would have been the pass to Cancelo. It was the pass from Mahrez out to the right hand side. Cancelo out to the right hand side to Mahrez. Before Mahrez returned it to, there was an offside. It's actually quite a clear offside, to be fair. And so goal ruled out by the video assistant. You found a VAR? I mean, actually, the assistant should have spotted that. That's right. Not on it. That's an easy one.
No, that's right. There's actually a little bit sloppy from Mahrez because there's no need for him to be offside. You know, he's just standing. He's not really keeping with the play. So he should have been offside. It was a really, really well worked goal. But they've shown their threat to Man City. Well, goal, but not obviously because it was ruled out. But no, I don't think. You want the correct decisions to be made, so VAR is doing its job with that, but it's killing me and it's killing everyone. We get excited about a goal there, but everything is for the players. It's even worse for them. They're celebrating and then suddenly it's ruled out, so it's very difficult. It's taking that out.
But as we say, I mean, that was a poor one, really, to be honest, that the assistant didn't get that one, because he's probably a yard or two even offside. And Pep Guardiola is in deep discussion with the fourth official, Kevin Friend, who, to be fair to him, had nothing to do with that. It was our on-field ref, Andre Mariner, his assistants, and then the video assistant referee today, David Coots, who came up with the decision to disallow it. Ball is over on the right-hand side with Joao Cancelo, and it's a poor bit of control. And in the meantime, there has been a goal in one of our other games going on at the moment. It's come in the match between Norwich and Crystal Palace.
Play a lovely little 1-2 in the penalty area. Peels for handball. Cantwell's there. Cantwell scores. I think he's offside. It's 1-0 to Norwich City. Although VAR will take a check, he did look like he might be in a too far advanced position.
Jeff Peters there describing that goal, and it has stood. The video assistant did not rule that one out, unlike the one that we have had here at the Etihad, where it remains 0-0 between Manchester City and Everton. Full 90-minute commentary, as always, on Premier League Live. And Manchester City have it at the back with Garcia. It would be such a thrill to come into this team as a young player and know that you've earned the trust of one of the all-time great managers already in Pep Guardiola, and who knows how he'll end up. Possibly the greatest of all time in terms of numbers of trophies, maybe, never know. Tackle over there by Yerry Mina, and it's a throw into Manchester City.
certainly we were, I was speaking earlier about the threat of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, but at the moment this back three of Man City look very, very comfortable. They've not really been threatened at all.
Absolutely, they've not got up to Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin at all, have they? As De Bruyne from the right side of the centre circle plays it forward, header up really rather than out by Yerry Mina towards the near side, and that's won by Mahrez. Mahrez getting out wide and trying to get past Luca Digne, comes back to De Bruyne in towards Jesus, header away by Mina. De Bruyne picks up the loose ball, nods it down to Gundogan. It's Foden, now Mendy, Garcia, and they're back near the halfway line with Rodri. Fernandinho, Gundogan. Loads of possession as you'd expect for Manchester City, although I think it's fair to say from what we've seen when Everton have had the ball that that's sort of the model that Carlo Ancelotti's going to be looking for them as well. They're going to want to dominate possession. And he's certainly got some decent passes of the ball on the field today, some good technicians. It's with Rodri. Square to Fernandinho in the centre circle, ball forward looking for Mahrez, takes it down on his chest, gets goal side of Luca Digne, but the offside flag is up. I suspect had he been onside there, the ref might have had a big decision to make. That would have been a penalty. And as last man, it's tight. I think he might have been on. What do you think? Yerry Mina playing him on?
I think he was onside, and I don't think it was a foul later on. So, listen, who knows these days? Anything can happen.
Well, of course, if by any chance he was on, and then they decided that was a foul, then that's a red card, isn't it? I think they've decided he's onside, so now they will make a look at this decision because VAR is there for red cards, and I think you're absolutely right, it's no foul, is it?
Doesn't look like it to me.
He was onside, definitely, and so then they're deciding, is it a penalty and potentially a red card, but I think you're right, it's no penalty. They won't give this. Here we go. So he gets in behind Digne, takes the chest down outside the area. There's a tiny hand on the back of Mahrez, but certainly not enough to make him go down. I don't quite know what they're checking. Do they think that there's contact on it? Oh, never. Are they suggesting that there's a tiny bit of contact of his studs on Digne's chin?
It's not obvious what they're looking for, is it?
Can't work it out. Well, I'll tell you what it's not. 100% it's not a clear and obvious error. Because I don't even know what they're looking at. And you can hear the reaction of the fans. They're absolutely furious.
Again, it's just taking too long.
And Mahrez went down unbelievably theatrically. And guess what? No penalty. Of course it's no penalty.
But we've wasted, 2-3 minutes at least.
Absolutely farcical.
Well, no, this is where you've got to just let the referee make his decisions.
Well, I don't know why they're now restarting with an Everton free kick, because it wasn't offside. It should be a drop ball. One of these new uncontested drop ball. Why is he's given a free kick to Everton? Absolutely ridiculous. 20 minutes gone, Manchester City 0, Everton 0. Dominic Calvert-Lewin flicks the ball on from the goalkeeper's clearance. Has he kept that in? I'm not sure he has, but Davis is going to be allowed to continue down the left-hand side, and Manchester City do clear, and justice at least briefly done, although Sigurdsson wins the header still high up the field. Richarlison can't bring it under his control. Rodri clears up over halfway, and chasing out to the right-back position is Yerry Mina for Everton. 20 minutes gone, Manchester City 0, Everton 0. We've had a completely correct VAR to rule out a goal that really, let's be honest, VAR shouldn't have been needed for, because he was clearly offside in the build-up. And now we've had one of the most ridiculous ones that's ended up with a free kick for Everton, where Manchester City did absolutely nothing wrong.
it's interesting just going back there. That was the first time that Everton had played direct into Calvert-Lewin. Who won a flick on and then chased it down himself, kept the ball alive, and they nearly got something out of Everton. But it looks like under Ancelotti they're going to look to play a bit more of a considered build-up approach, which I'm not sure suits Calvert-Lewin. So I know he's in great form at the moment, but he's more an old-fashioned style centre forward. They need to mix it up a little bit, I think, and play into him direct at times. If they want to play build-up under Ancelotti, I get that. But also, if you've got a striker of his stamp, you need to play to his strengths at times, and then people work off him. Just mix the game up a little bit, I think.
Manchester City in possession with Kevin De Bruyne. Gives it to Rodri to the right of the centre circle. Rodri comes back to Fernandinho. Manchester City looking, as always, happy to pick the ball up in tight spaces, and then they spin the ball out to the right-hand side through Kevin De Bruyne. Jordan Pickford comes quickly to clear it into touch, and it's Manchester City 0, Everton 0, and a throw to Manchester City. Joao Cancelo will take this throw for Manchester City. High up on the right-hand side, gives it to De Bruyne. Has he kept that in? No, he hasn't. It's just dropped out of play. And, that's really poor from Joao Cancelo, who doesn't get an awful lot of football in the Premier League, it must be said, since arriving for extortionate money from Juventus. It's just his 7th Premier League appearance in what is their 21st game of the season, so he's playing just a third. Thought he had an assist earlier on, but no said VAR, as Pep Guardiola's convinced his team should have a throw. Luca Digne is going to come and retrieve it from the Manchester City boss, because it's gone Everton's way. Midpoint of the first half, 0-0.
There's just been a little bit of a lull in the game at the moment, there seems to be. Obviously after those 2 VAR decisions, things have quietened down a little bit, just sort of settling down.
Did we work out how Manchester City ended up conceding a free kick in that situation?
No, absolutely no idea whatsoever.
Because he wasn't offside, and there was no foul by an Everton player in the box. There certainly equally was no foul by any Manchester City player. It wasn't even looked at as a possibility. Here's De Bruyne, giving it to Foden. Foden in towards Gabriel Jesus. Jesus puts it over the bar from 20 yards. Decent effort. Why not have a crack? Worth it when it opens up in front of you like that. But execution not quite right.
Yeah, it was really good build-up. Great little cushion header initially from De Bruyne. Great ball from Foden into Jesus. The cut one way, brought it back onto his right foot, from about just 20-odd yards out. Didn't really trouble Jordan Pickford, but decent build-up certainly, and worth a chance there. Worth having a go.
Certainly was. All away by Jordan Pickford, and it's Everton who lose out in possession once again. It's with Fernandinho, and I just wonder whether part of the thought about dropping into 3 at the back as well is, given Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin's legs, it just gives him a little bit more protection, doesn't it, having those 2 either side of him, Rodri and Garcia.
Well, it does, and the Man City back 3 then in theory should take care of the Everton front 2, rather than if you're playing a back 4 you've got to tuck round one of your full-backs to give you the cover. And like I say, I'm not overly sure that the 2 sort of wing-backs who are playing today for Man City would be full-backs otherwise are particularly good at that, if I'm honest. Both probably better at getting forward than they are defensively, so it gives them that extra little bit of security, extra bit of cover. Certainly so far, Man City defensively looking very, very solid.
Certainly are, and they've won another header there through Fernandinho. Not the tallest, but he timed it perfectly to beat Dominic Calvert-Lewin to that one. Fernandinho wearing the captain's armband, of course, in the absence of David Silva, who's been injured but is back on the substitutes bench today alongside, goodness me, what a subs bench. The 2 Silvers, Aguero, Sterling, absolutely amazing. a throw and just about managed to find Joao Cancelo. Manchester City get it away, and this is the quick break where they can be so dangerous, and De Bruyne is brought down by Yerry Mina, who I think, to be fair to Mina, had sort of slipped over before De Bruyne came to him and then couldn't really get out of his way. Maybe I'm being a bit generous there. Either way, it is a free kick and a yellow card for Yerry Mina.
Yeah, I think he sort of overran it, Mina, a little bit, and the ball looked like it went through his legs, and he's caught. He's nothing he can do. He's in no man's land a little bit and had to make the foul. There's nothing else he can do there, really.
Free kick to Manchester City then in the centre circle from Gundogan.
Sort of sense City are just getting a little bit of pressure building now. Had a couple of chances, a couple of strikes on Jordan Pickford's goal. He's had to make a few fairly routine but decent saves. Just sense it building a little bit now.
Never kept a clean sheet against Manchester City as Jordan Pickford. Oh, he'd love to turn that around today. Already the ball has been in his net once, but Everton given the reprieve via VAR. As Pickford clears long for Everton once again. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison I should say, beats Fernandinho to it initially, but good slide by the veteran. And now it's with Claudio Bravo in the Manchester City goal. Bravo maintaining his position. Consecutive starts for him in the Premier League for the first time this season, and indeed for many, many moons, it must be said, because of Ederson's lack of fitness. Bravo moves it to the right for Garcia. He just about kept that one in, and Foden had a great first touch, but the second one is lacking, and then he's brought down Gylfi Sigurdsson, who just rolled around for a little while, but I think he's going to be okay. Just checking his ankles all right, Sigurdsson. And Everton will have themselves a free kick over on that right hand side.
I don't think they'll be in any rush, Everton. I think they'll be fairly happy with the way things have gone so far. They've not had too many chances in the Man City goal, but if they can get in 0-0 at half time, I think Carlo Ancelotti will be very pleased with that 45 minutes work.
Certainly would be. I think they'd probably take 0-0 before the game, wouldn't they? Over the course of the 90. Always a good result to get anything out of Manchester City, who've got a very good record against Everton recently. Won the last 4 and have only lost one of the last 13 meetings between the two sides. You'll remember it because it was a 4-0 victory for Everton, and it remains Pep Guardiola's heaviest league defeat as a head coach, and that is with any of his 3 clubs. Fabian Delph moves it out to the right for Yerry Mina. Mina gives it to Sigurdsson, formerly of Barcelona himself, of course, Yerry Mina. And then Sigurdsson's moved out to the right hand side, long ball forward, and Everton wonder whether they need a bit of a plan B, because they're not winning any of those, and they're not really getting anywhere further forward with the possession-based style that they're using up to this point. Rodri has it in the centre circle for Manchester City, gives it to Riyad Mahrez. Cancelo is outside of him if he wants, instead checks back in into his favoured left foot. Rodri, Fernandinho, now here's Garcia to the left of the centre circle inside Everton's half. All 10 outfield players in the Everton half. They work it up to Jesus to Manchester City. Now Gundogan low out to the right for Cancelo. Cancelo has got Mahrez making a run. Jesus will find Mahrez himself, and the flag is up. And again, from looking across the line, Riyad Mahrez wastefully gives away possession by standing in an offside position. Just that last passage of play, Toby, is quite impressive. The Everton shape, quite a low block to the front to halfway in their own half, but then there's no gaps or areas really for Man City to exploit in between the units and between individuals. So they're quite compact, quite tight. As he's obviously been doing a bit of work on the training pitch, and looks quite solid. I mean, Pickford's, to be fair, really not been tested, has he? You know, a couple of saves, fair enough, but 2 shots. One was down his throat, wasn't it? One was half decently pushed wide for the corner.
but it's not been troubled too much, like you say.
City Bay make the error and allowed it to run to Mendy. Mendy worked it up to the left, and now it's with Foden, who's moved it infield to Rodri. Now to the right for Joao Cancelo. Cancelo's found a little gap where Mahrez has run into down the centre, just outside the 18-yard box. Mahrez spreads play to Mendy. 3 in the box to aim for if he wishes. Short instead to Gundogan. Back to Mendy. And Everton defending in numbers and forcing Manchester City back to the halfway line. And Gundogan gives it to Rodri. And again, Manchester City suddenly have possession midpoint of their own half. And Tom Davies chasing forces them back to Claudio Bravo. Down the middle for De Bruyne. Davies trying to pick his pocket high up the field. De Bruyne just about realised in time, gives it to Fernandinho, and here's Rodri for Mahrez. Mahrez coming forward up over the halfway line on the right hand side, already into the midpoint of the Everton half and approaching the final third. Cuts back onto his left foot and moves it infield to Gundogan. Little bit of space for De Bruyne, I should say. De Bruyne finds Mendy. This is brilliant by Manchester City, and Foden eventually goes for goal from inside left position. Didn't get much power on it. Angle was always getting tighter, and it was an easy claim, really, almost a cross-come shot from Foden for Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he probably tried to cross it and didn't quite get hold of it, and it sliced it a little bit into Jordan Pickford. But decent run from Foden. He's looked quite bright today. Certainly looking to run forward and get on the ball and cause Everton problems, but not really had an awful lot of joy at the moment.
There's a foul given against a Manchester City player there, against, I think it was Richarlison, who was got the free kick, and Everton will take it through. Yerry Mina, I wasn't quite sure where it was from. I think it was closer to the halfway line than he eventually took it from, but happy to just get on with the game. And here's Holgate at the back for Everton. Uses Pickford. Smacked high and clear and long, but runs all the way through to the man wearing yellow, all the way to our left, Claudio Bravo. 75% possession for Manchester City in the last 10 minutes. And what little Everton have had, they've done very little with.
It's probably far different from that over the whole game. So I wouldn't think. It'll be at least 65%, Man City, I'd say, at least.
Get in touch with us if you like at Talk Sport Live. I want City to lose this match by 3-1, says Shafiu Abdullah. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Listening in Lagos, Nigeria. And Abukari Abdullah has been in touch. The controversy of VAR continues, but I do hope Manchester City drop points. I suspect these might be maybe Liverpool fans, possibly Everton fans. That would be the irony, of course, of the Manchester City, the Everton-Liverpool situation is. I can't repeat what a taxi driver said to me the other day while I was on Merseyside, who was an Evertonian, about what he would do for Liverpool not to win the league. But it's fair to say the rivalry continues on Merseyside. It's with Fabian Delph. There's been a third goal in the game between West Ham and Bournemouth. We'll get to that momentarily, because Manchester City have it on the attack over on the left-hand side again by Mendy. Mendy gives it infield to De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries that almost trademark out far side of the right foot pass. It didn't come off, but it did bounce for Foden, who's found Mendy. This is Jesus. Gets it all wrong. Did it take a deflection? It certainly went wide off of Gabriel Jesus' effort inside the 18-yard box.
I think he just sliced the ball. Yeah, sliced it wide. Decent cutback though. Better from Mendy. Got forward and then pulled the ball back to Jesus, straight to his feet. Decent cutback. That's unlucky. He couldn't really get hold of it. Probably should have done a little bit better with that. But not bad for Man City. Decent play. Richard Wolfenden is watching West Ham against Bournemouth.
Can he make it 6 from 6? Noble sent Ramsdale the wrong way, and Mark Noble makes it West Ham United 3, Bournemouth 0 with only 34 minutes on the clock. And what a start to his second tenure at West Ham for David Moyes. They are blowing Bournemouth away here, West Ham. And it's Mark Noble with his second of the game here. 3-0 to the Hammers.
To me, that's some result, especially with a lot of those around them winning earlier on today, West Ham, and bringing Bournemouth into it as well, as Everton, David Moyes' former team, of course, go long down the left-hand side. Digne can't get to it first, and it's really well defended, it must be said, there by Manchester City, who eventually win themselves a throw for Fabian Delph. 3-0 to West Ham. And that would pull them a couple of places up the table and actually drop Bournemouth into the drop zone.
So yeah, Bournemouth will be looking anxiously over their shoulders at the moment.
Well, they need to look more than that. They're inside the drop zone. Doesn't matter what's over their shoulders right now, but I know what you mean. I'll tell you what, I know exactly what you mean. It's a real worry for Eddie Howe's men. In charge for such a long time, and I know there's been criticism of clubs like Watford for changing their manager, and I don't know, is it possible well, I'll ask you this in a moment, because Mendy is playing the ball up towards Gabriel Jesus. Yerry Mina read it really well and slides it away as it's a Seamus Coleman just about turning away from Foden. He's done really well, and then checks and turns back to the goalkeeper. I was just about to say, I wonder if, that one of the skills I would have thought being a manager at a club for a very long time is you do have to change your message. It can't just be repetitive, and I just wonder whether that is it possible that a change of manager, not because Eddie Howe's no good, but because he's just the same, is what Bournemouth might need.
Well, I was going to say Eddie Howe's no good. He's being linked with the Arsenal job and things like that.
He's clearly an amazing manager.
Yeah,
I just mean in terms of just a new voice can sometimes make a big difference at these clubs.
Well, I think what you generally need to do is freshen up. Something needs to freshen up and change, and it's generally the members of the squad to freshen things up, and so it's not the same players hearing the same voice all the time and the same message.
Loyal though, isn't he? That team doesn't change a lot. As Manchester City get the ball through to Gabriel Jesus, held up by Yerry Mina, comes back towards Mahrez, screwed wide with his right foot. Poor really from Riyad Mahrez. We know he favours his left, but you've got to do better than that when presented with an opportunity like that in the Premier League.
Yeah, he just scuffed it a little bit. Fantastic ball through for Jesus in the first place. He's not had a lot of joy today, Jesus, at all. The Everton back three have marshalled him really, really well, but played into him in the penalty box, and he sets a perfect ball then for Mahrez. As you say, it is on his weaker right foot, and he scuffs it and pulls it just a little bit, and it didn't trouble Jordan Pickford. But again, better for Man City. They're getting opportunities, but not looking to have that cutting edge that we're used to seeing from them. Not looking quite as dangerous, and I don't seem to that same level of belief that they're going to score every time they go forward like they normally have.
I don't know if you ever heard of Raheem Sterling or Sergio Aguero, but they are available to them off the bench, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Apparently the boy Aguero's got a chance, I'm hearing.
Yes, it's possible. He's actually a incredible statistic. He's only one away from going level with Thierry Henry in the all-time Premier League goal scoring list now. 174 goals Aguero has. Henry got to 175 in his career. And yet probably with neutrals, probably people would favour Henry, but the scoring rate's unbelievable for Aguero.
Aguero's just a goal scoring machine, fantastic at what he does. Henry was
a bit more aesthetically pleasing, maybe.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, he's just glide, didn't he? He picked up on that left hand side. Henry just glide past players.
Here's De Bruyne over on the left for Manchester City into Ilkay Gundogan, still 0-0, 2 minutes to play plus stoppage time at the end of this first 45 minutes. It's been an engrossing encounter without perhaps really catching light. Everton barely threatening Manchester City. They didn't have the first chance of the game. Seamus Coleman forced a really good save out of Claudio Bravo, but since then it's been all Manchester City, as it is again now, and De Bruyne has worked it to Joao Cancelo. Cancelo keeps it in really well actually on the volley and gets it in field to Riyad Mahrez. Now Rodri in an advanced position from where he started as a centre-back, comes back to halfway, and Fernandinho how much space is there out on the left-hand side for Benjamin Mendy. First touch is good. Second touch works its way into Riyad Mahrez, and I don't think he expected it, and it dropped down to him. I think he even got 2 bites of that particular cherry, but it wasn't fruitful at all for him in the end, and it runs on through to Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, fantastic ball in by Mendy, to be fair. Really, really good delivery into the box. There's a few different Man City players attacking it. Mason Holgate completely misses the ball. Should have cleared it for Everton. So he got away with that a little bit.
I think he thought that it wasn't going to drop to him, or maybe just saw it late, didn't he? One or the other. Riyad Mahrez. It's difficult to anticipate coming at him, and it really wasn't a long way away from Jesus getting the touch home. Jordan Pickford clears for Everton once again. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be a willing runner. Got goal side of Rodri, who just immediately took the ball away from him. But Everton have won it high up here. Calvert-Lewin's touch just didn't quite run itself to Richarlison. And here's Claudio Bravo for Manchester City. Moves it to the left. And it's a chance to clear away by Garcia, but giving it straight to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who his second touch had to be a tackle because it was poor touch back to him. And here's Foden. 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first 45. Benjamin Mendy has moved down the left-hand side if Kevin De Bruyne wants it, but he's just gone a long way himself as De Bruyne. And then Seamus Coleman, as the ball ricocheted loose, touches it back towards the goalkeeper. It wasn't an intended pass. I think the fans are claiming that was a back pass, but there's no doubt that he didn't deliberately do that. In fact, I think he probably wanted to bring it under his control. Never managed it. Jordan Pickford has possession. It'll take plenty of time as the clock ticks towards half-time.
Yeah, and that's what Man City will want in the second half, for the game to get a bit more stretch. Everton pressed higher up the pitch then, which leaves the space. De Bruyne picked up the ball and just got into full flow, just literally walked past Fabian Delph as if he wasn't there. And then when they break at pace like that, they look so dangerous. And especially second half, when they get the likes of Raheem Sterling possibly coming on, who's so quick and makes such great forward runs. That's when they look at their most dangerous, Man City.
The flick round the corner has dropped only to Everton, and here's Richarlison down on the right hand side by the corner flag, and it's just off of Eric Garcia, who looks thoroughly fed up as it ricochets behind for a corner to Everton. And you do sometimes feel that maybe it's these set pieces that give the Toffees an opportunity. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course, is a potential, but also so comes forward Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina. Three looking outside the area if they wanted to try something else. No, it is a normal ball into the box towards Mina. That's a chance, he's headed it over the bar.
Yeah, it was a decent ball in. Gylfi Sigurdsson, fairly lofted, but he just wanted to clear the first man and put it into that danger area round about the penalty spot, where Everton have got some big lads coming in to attack it. Man City have certain frailties in that department, and probably should have done a bit better there, Mina.
Yeah, and you're not mistaken, that is boos around the Etihad, although if we're honest, I suspect that might be for the VAR decision to rule out their goal, because Manchester City have not been bad by any shape or means. In fact, they've played pretty well, they just haven't quite had that final moment, the final flourish to give themselves the lead. VAR ruling out the only time the ball has found its way into the back of the net, but they've certainly been thoroughly on top. Half time at the Etihad, Manchester City 0, Everton 0.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Later. It's Polly and Boo. all for most excellent pay.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Monday morning from 6.
Ring your neck in, Alan, that's enough.
On Talk Sport.
Durham.
That's brilliant.
There. Well, he's the king of the gingers, yeah. The Talksport VIP. He's reached the top with his carrot mop and his tall and freckly. He's on every day with coffee. The top fast bowling chat.
You're not wrong.
They'll hit you for 6 with a sporting mix from the middle of their cricket bat. Oh, I want to be like you.
What have you said now?
I want a ginger, a head to treasure too. You see it's true.
I've had enough of it.
Someone like me
Don't talk about that.
can learn to be like Durham, like you. Join the kings of the sporting jungle. Adrian Durham and Darren Goff. Weekday afternoons from 4. That's Talk Sport I'm talking about, man.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs on Sport. Talk Sport. It's the double O duo on the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksby and Andy Oddjob Jacobs flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got Pussy Galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksby and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on Talk Sport.
You've reached the voicemail of Alan Brazil.
If you're lucky, you just might catch the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
If you know where they look.
A solid Scottish bon vivant. He's been there, seen it, drunk it. Today's a friendly bookie, and life's an all-day junket. He put a monkey on a horse. That didn't make the course. Oh, Alan!
They call me the Tartan Pimpernel.
It's a comic daily steeplechase of tartan joviality. A proper wedge of wonder and corporate hospitality. It's a full day's toil when you're always on the boil, like Alan.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Talk Sports National Treasure. Available across the UK in wine bars, hospitality tents, bookies, and occasionally on Talk Sport.
Join me Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Hopefully.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Cheers!
Talk Sport.
0-0 at half-time between Manchester City and Everton, but there are 2 other games ongoing at the same time as this one, and we can hear exactly what's happened in all 3 of these matches in the first 45 minutes.
The game here, 3-0 to the Hammers.
Yeah, so half-time across the Premier League at the moment. Manchester City 0, Everton 0, Norwich 1, Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 3, Bournemouth 0. Almost everybody down the bottom of the table winning, but of course there can only be one winner between West Ham and Bournemouth are being dragged very much into the relegation mire. At the moment, there is just 5 points between Watford in 19th and Arsenal up in 13th position. Kit Simons alongside myself, Toby Gillis, for this one. I mean, you know, what about that for a start for Dave? Moyes almost certain of winning that game now, and you know, what a way to re-announce yourself to the West Ham fans.
Fantastic for him, and that will give everyone
first win as Arsenal boss. Let's just focus briefly back on this game between Manchester City and Everton, still 0-0. Kit Simons alongside myself, Toby Gillis, with this one. A few minutes away from kick-off for the second half. What's Carlo Ancelotti saying to his team? Because I thought for Pep it's sort of more of the same, and I think the breakthrough might come, but Carlo Ancelotti maybe a bit more to think about.
Yeah, I think he'll be relatively happy. Like I say, at times when they've dropped off and had a low block, Everton, they've looked very, very solid and very compact, and hard for Man City to break them down. But you play a dangerous game. If he comes and wants to shut up shop and just go for a 0-0, that's a very, very dangerous game, because even then, if you have got great shape and good distances between your units and your individuals, Man City can still break you down. Then you chase it.
Yeah, they certainly can. Well, it is 0-0 at half-time. Second half commentary to come. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Later it's Polly and Bookies, all for most excellent pay.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6.
Bring your neck in, Alan, that's enough.
On Talk Sport.
Durham.
That's brilliant.
Well, he's the king of the gingers, yeah. The TalkSport VIP. He's rich the top with his carrot mop and his tall and freckly. He's on every day with coffee. But top fast bowling chat.
You're not wrong.
They'll hit you for six with a sporting mix from the middle of their cricket bat. Oh, but I want to be like you.
What have you said now?
I want a ginger, I had the treasure too. You see it's true.
I've had enough of it.
Someone like me.
Don't talk about that.
Can learn to be like Durham, like you.
Join the kings of the sporting jungle, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff. Weekday afternoons from 4.
That's TalkSport I'm talking about, man.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs on sport. TalkSport. It's the double O duo on the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksbee and Andy Oddjob Jacobs, flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got Pussy Galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksbee and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on TalkSport.
You've reached the voicemail of Alan Brazil.
If you're lucky, you just might catch the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
If you know where they look. A solid Scottish bon vivant. He's been there, seen it, drunk it. Today's a friendly bookie, and life's an all-day junket. He put a monkey on a horse. That didn't make the course. Oh, Alan!
They call me the Tartan Pimpernel.
It's a comic daily steeplechase of tartan joviality. A proper wedge of wonder and corporate hospitality. It's a full day's toil when you're always on the boil like Alan.
Alan!
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Talk Sports National Treasure. Available across the UK in wine bars, hospitality tents, bookies, and occasionally on Talk Sport.
Join me Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Hopefully
on digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Cheers!
Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Everton from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Toby Gillis. Alongside me, a former Manchester City defender, Kit Simons. This is Premier League Live. And I can see that the Everton players are beginning to think about emerging from the tunnel, standing right at the very edge. And, I suspect Kit Simons, no changes from either of these two sides for the second half. Manchester City already out. And, as we suggested, Carlo Ancelotti will perhaps have just told his players to just press that little bit higher, maybe, force some of the errors further up. They've certainly got the pace, you would think, to damage the back three. It's just getting there that's been the problem.
And that's the conundrum, because then when you do start pressing up there higher, then that leaves space in behind, which Man City love to exploit. So it's a catch-22, you know. Do you go and try and win the game and be a bit more adventurous and run that risk of leaving yourself a little bit open to this Man City front line who are fantastic breaking forward, or does he sit and consolidate? So I think certainly to start with we'll probably see the same approach from Everton, really. I don't think they'll push too high up the pitch. All sort of drop off in their shape and try and remain solid.
0-0 then, we are back underway. Manchester City shooting from right to left as we watch in their light blue jerseys, white shorts, white socks. Everton in their navy blue, all navy blue kits, giving away a free kick early doors. No changes, so the team's in full. Bravo in goal for City. It's a 4-2-3-1 sort of, although plenty of movement as De Bruyne finds Jesus, forces the keeper on the stretch down to his right hand side to make the save. Think it was going wide, but Pickford wasn't to know that, and he's claimed it really well. And Jesus would have been offside.
It was offside clearly as well, but brilliant ball from De Bruyne. I mean, Jesus just tries to flick it for the near. Really, he's got to look. I don't think he generated the power to go back across goal, but that was his only option of scoring, but it was definitely offside as well.
Richarlison gives the ball away to Benjamin Mendy.
Who needs VAR?
Absolutely.
Offside, clearly.
Didn't go go up. But anyway, so let's just finish the Manchester City side as they continue to come forward with Cancelo in possession, and he's on the right of the back four. It's Garcia, Fernandinho and Benjamin Mendy. Then it's Rodri and Gundogan in midfield, with Mahrez, De Bruyne, Foden behind Jesus. For Everton, who are defending at the moment, is Pickford in goal, Coleman, Mina and Holgate the back three, Sidibe, Delph, Sigurdsson and Digne across the midfield, with Davis in midfield. There's Sigurdsson in the 10 and Richarlison supporting Calvert-Lewin up front, and the applause you can hear is David Silva, Sergio Aguero and Raheem Sterling all warming up down this near touchline.
That would be a bad triple substitution, would it, to bring on?
Imagine. Terrifying.
Come on, Pep, come on.
Here's Gundogan in midfield for Manchester City, just drops it back to Eric Garcia. Leaves it left for Mendy. Foden, not his favourite position, that left hand side. I know he had the goal disallowed, but he's not really got into the game, I don't think it's fair to say. Rodri has it. Fernandinho. Gundogan gets it to Garcia, out to Mendy. Sigurdsson's ball down the right hand side is cut out by Garcia. Looks pretty composed for a kid, doesn't he, at the back for Manchester City?
Yeah, both back threes have done all right really overall. I think they've defended pretty well. I think that experience in now, Fernandinho is obviously the experience really for Man City. He was not an orthodox centre back, but deemed by Pep certainly to be the best there is available at the club. So, and it's fit at the moment. So he brings that experience certainly there, will help the young players alongside him.
They'd be closer if they'd had Laporte, wouldn't they? I think
you would think so, certainly. That's been, for me, certainly the biggest problem all season, and I think that's festered and other things have come to light, but because of that was the catalyst of the whole thing, if you ask me.
Talking about February return for Bernard Laporte. Superb player. And I'll just call him Bernard. Aymeric, of course. Don't know where that came from. Here's Phil Foden for Manchester City anyway. I've got his name right. Down the right hand side for Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez's delivery is headed away by Holgate. De Bruyne, a little bit weak that touch to Mahrez. Made something of it though, gives it back to the Belgian. And here's Rodri. some of the passes where in the past they'd have been accurate. We just saw Fernandinho having to chase 7-8 yards out to the left, and I feel like in the past, that's a great ball through by Gundogan to Jesus. That's a fabulous goal. What a pass, Gundogan. And Gabriel Jesus simply loves playing Everton. He's scored in each of his 5 matches against them, and Manchester City this time do open the scoring, and he will be onside, and it's Manchester City 1, Everton 0.
It was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic ball from Gundogan, but a brilliant run. Mason Holgate gets caught in two minds a little bit because Mahrez has come in field as well, and he looks to make a run, and I think Holgate took his eye off Jesus slightly. It makes a brilliant, a fantastic ball from Gundogan. Cuts inside his right foot, bends it into the far corner, gets a bit of a hand on it, Jordan Pickford, but couldn't keep that in that.
He was furious that he didn't though, wasn't he? I think he thought he probably could have done.
Yeah, I think he's maybe been a little bit harsh on himself, guys. It's a brilliant finish, really, really good. It's fantastic, well-worked goal from Man City. We said about it's so congested centrally, and it was then, but the pass from Gundogan was literally eye the needle stuff.
And we have that bizarre moment where the biggest cheer goes up when kick-off is taken, because that means VAR is not going to change it, as Calvert-Lewin briefly gets goal side of Fernandinho. Made it awkward for the Brazilian there, and he can only concede the corner. I hate that the biggest cheer for that goal was when kick-off was taken.
I think that goes to show, doesn't it? Sign of the times, that one.
Infuriating.
It's like Everton about to make a change now. Duncan Ferguson's got the board.
I thought you were going to say Duncan Ferguson's coming on. Yeah, they have to put their own substitutes up on the boards nowadays as Sigurdsson waits to take this corner. Having done all the hard work to get in front, Manchester City wouldn't want to allow Everton back in. It's Manchester City's 55th goal of the season in 20 and a half games. Here's Sigurdsson with the outswinging delivery. Floated. Good header by Holgate. Just wide. Might have taken a deflection. It was Calvert-Lewin, apologies, that hung himself up there and got good contact on it.
Yeah, again, it's that same corner that Gylfi Sigurdsson took in the first half, where it's almost a bit of a lazy lob into the box just to clear the first man at the near post, because they really fancy their chances attacking Man City in the middle of the 6-yard box or just south of the penalty spot.
Carlo Ancelotti's Everton side behind for the first time since he took over. Here's Sigurdsson, similar delivery. This time it's up and away by Jesus, back in by Sidibe. Yerry Mina's trying to deal with it. There was an offside player in there, and the referee has given a free kick. He didn't go for the ball, but he was definitely interfering with play. It would have affected the way the defenders were. So it's a free kick. Bravo takes.
Now we'll have to see. Obviously, Everton have now got to start pushing a little bit more and pressing Man City and playing a bit higher up the pitch. So this could hope we'll open the game up. And
high diagonal out towards Mendy, finds Foden in the area, hooks it back over his shoulder. Jesus gets the nod down. Tom Davies trying to get it clear, combining with Digne. Digne's going to be a foul from Cancelo. Yes, definitely free kick to Everton inside their own 18-yard box. Digne has certainly offered absolutely nothing down the left-hand side for Everton. Barely mentioned his name throughout the game. There's been little bits of effort by Sidibe, and Coleman, of course, got down the right in the first half, but going to offer a bit of threat down the wings, you think, from the fullbacks, the wing-backs as they are.
That's right, yeah. So we said that, the Man City boys have both looked to get forwards. Obviously, Cancelo put a brilliant ball in for the disallowed goal in the first half. Mendy's been getting forward quite a lot.
Everton might get away here. It's Richarlison up against Fernandinho, just stood up brilliantly to the Brazilian defender and stuck a toe in, took it away from his fellow countryman. And Manchester City have it with Rodri. There was half a chance there for Richarlison if he'd really had a go at Fernandinho, I thought. Mendy slips the ball up to Mahrez. Mahrez's ball in field is behind Foden. Everton have it back with Tom Davies. Davies's ball ricochets kindly for Benjamin Mendy of Manchester City though. And Gundogan scoops the ball to the right hand side for Cancelo. Jesus, first touch lets him down. Delph can only give it to former teammate Kevin De Bruyne. Here's Fernandinho in the centre circle. Manchester City 1, Everton 0. Elsewhere in the Premier League, it remains Norwich 1, Crystal Palace 0, and West Ham 3, Bournemouth 0. All with Rodri at the back for Manchester City. One further to Fernandinho. Now here's Gundogan. Eric Garcia steps forward, yet to concede since he's started a Premier League game for Manchester City. Clean sheet against Sheffield United. Clean sheet after 56 minutes against Everton here as he plays a good ball down the left-hand side looking for Mahrez. Mina's just too strong for him. And he's forced him behind. That was, how can we put it, robust defending from Yerry Mina.
Good defending. He covered the ground very quickly, got his body in between Mahrez and the ball, and there was no way Mahrez was going to be able to shift him. He's a big old unit.
He certainly is. There was an interesting tweet came in earlier at TalkSport Live, if you want to get in touch with us, suggesting perhaps that Manchester City are missing the tactical knowledge of Mikel Arteta. They've struggled since he joined Arsenal, he says, and he's enjoying listening in from Port Harcourt. Do assistants have that much input in a Pep Guardiola squad? Well, he thought highly of him, didn't he?
Yeah, he'll certainly listen. He'll certainly have an input. I would think. I'm sure they work very closely together. I mean, relationships are different between certain managers and assistants, but it looked like they had a close relationship, and he'd certainly have his say. But I wouldn't think it'd make that much difference. You wouldn't imagine? You wouldn't.
Manchester City in possession, leading Everton by a goal to 0. City have it with Rodri right of the centre circle. Here's De Bruyne, slips it up to Foden, more central position. Mahrez finds Jesus. That's another one. Oh my word! Everton simply cannot keep Gabriel Jesus down. Left foot this time. Low finish. Jordan Pickford beaten at his near post, and it's Manchester City 2, Everton 0.
Brilliant link-up play. I mean, Everton got caught at 6s and 7s there, but brilliant from Man City. Great little ball from Mahrez. Mina just switches off a little bit and allows too much space for Jesus. Great ball to pick him out from Mahrez. Finishes with his left foot at the near post. Be a bit disappointed Jordan Pickford, I think, getting beaten at his near post, but good finish from Gabriel Jesus.
It certainly was. Left-footed, pretty comfortable one, frankly.
It all looked
Sigurdsson in at the 10, so it's 4-2-3-1, I guess, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how it looks.
And here comes Holgate out of defence to Digne, out to Richarlison, who's the man that's moved on to the left-hand side.
Really quiet tonight, isn't he, Richarlison?
Barely mentioned his name, yeah, absolutely. And you'd say the same for Calvert-Lewin, to be fair.
Yeah, we expected big things at the start of the game, but they both had a quiet game. But I think you've got to say the Man City back three have dealt with them very well and not really given them any sniffs.
Certainly has, but now there's a chance for Richarlison to get on his bike. Once again up against Fernandinho, left side of the 18-yard box, slips past Fernandinho, but Fernandinho's the man that takes the ball.
He's done that a couple of times now, Fernandinho. He's in one-on-one situations, doesn't panic, and he doesn't commit himself either. He waits and waits and waits rather than diving in, making the forwards mind up. He's very, very patient. He's a good one-on-one defender.
Doesn't ever get caught for pace either, does he? I mean, he's just shepherds them where he wants them to go, waits till there's a chance, and just nicks the ball at the key moment. We've had Dani Anderson get in touch, listening from Jamaica. Go Manchester City. I always like it if people want to send us pictures of wherever they are on this New Year's Day around the world. You're often in very, very exotic locations. So if you're listening anywhere particularly spectacular, at TalkSport Live, make us all jealous. It's pretty cold in Britain, it's fair to say. Manchester City, though, or at least their Brazilian striker Gabriel Jesus is red hot. He's got 2 goals and he's trying to help Manchester City get a third here, although his ball slipped down the left-hand side is easily dealt with by Mina. Mina is fouled there by Mahrez. It's a free kick, and Mina and Mahrez, there was a bit of a ruckus when Mina shepherded a ball behind which Mahrez was chasing a few minutes ago, and now they're having it was a gentle shoving match, shall we say. Happy New Year certainly out the window between those two, but it is a free kick to Everton, right side of their own 18-yard box, and Jordan Pickford's going to boom this one clear.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much in it. A bit of a mismatch as well, to be honest. Yeah. I think Mina just gave us the little sign to Mahrez, like, I'm watching you.
You might not be prepared to put your money on Arsenal getting relegated, but I think if there was a fight between those two, I know where your cash would be going.
Lump on big time.
Foden trying to dribble down the near side, but stopped by Sigurdsson. Throw to Manchester City, which Mendy's going to take. He looked such a great acquisition, Benjamin Mendy, didn't he, when he first arrived, and then he got that horrific injury, was it 4 or 5 games in. He's probably never quite reached the heights as yet. 10-time France international. And
I think since he's come back again, some of his quality on his final ball and some of his passing looks just a little bit off, and not quite what you would expect for a Man City player, but certainly someone who they spent all that money on.
Fullback so key in a Pep Guardiola system. As Sidibe wins the ball, but fortuitously here on the near side, but the poor pass forward is cut out by Garcia, who also looks, talking about Fernandinho, incredibly composed defender. It's with him again on this near side,
but interestingly so in a back 3.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've hardly spoken about him, but Rodrigo's been excellent in a 3, and I see he played centre half in a 4 for Man City once as well. I watched earlier this season, had a really solid game in there, so he's a very good player for them.
Rodri, yeah. As City do waste possession as they chase down the right hand side. Cancelo was never going to get on the end of that pass to Everton. Luca Digne will take. Are you effectively saying that it's more difficult playing as a centre back in a 4? What is
different.
The difference?
It's just very, very different. Both.
You just get less protection, is that what you mean?
You can do, certainly. Like today, for example, so it's been the Man City back 3 against the Everton front 2. It's been quite straightforward and quite easy to deal with. The problem could come playing a back 3 if you're only against one, and then you can leave it to each other, leave whoever's going to mark the striker to each other, and then he can get free. So you need to work on it, I think. If you play a back 3 well, it can be easier, and it's a great system to play in. I've played both ways obviously over the years, and I always loved playing a back 3. We did it with Wales to great effect in the Euros. If you've got the right players to do it.
Here's De Bruyne moving it to the right hand side for Rodri over halfway, slips in Riyad Mahrez. Cancelo forward and out to the right if he wants him, instead just checks, gives it back to the Spaniard Rodri. De Bruyne, one of his quieter games today, into Ilkay Gundogan. Special pass, frankly, for Gabriel Jesus' second goal from the German. Rodri, Mahrez, drilled back at Fernandinho's head. Even that one he managed to just take down, move Manchester City forward. Jesus, Mahrez, and now Joao Cancelo. It's from Mahrez. Uses Rodri in the centre circle. Bang in the middle of the pitch is Gundogan. Garcia. City looking comfortable and relaxed on the ball again. Mendy back to Gundogan. Slips it through to Mendy again. This would be some goal if they could get somewhere with this. And then Mendy runs into Sidibe, and it's with Mina. Mina just nudged down by the left back, who's very disappointed. Why is Mina suddenly in so much pain? initially it was a bit of a push on him, that's a foul, and then was there contact with his leg? I don't know what happened there. Did you? Was there
just caught his ankle, Mendy, but there's no intent in it or malice at all. So Mina was just rolling around a little bit.
He seemed to be worried about an area that didn't look like he got.
No, I don't think he caught his ankle, and then he's holding like just below his knee. So I'm not sure there's anything in that.
Ika Yeguala, I think that's how you're pronouncing that name. This dip in form has nothing to do with Arteta. It's the natural progression of an ageing side that's not adequately replaced pivotal members in the team, facing a very good side in Liverpool this season. I think there might be some truth in that, actually, to be honest with you, as Everton make a second change. Moise Keane has come on, and it's Gylfi Sigurdsson who he's replaced, so certainly getting more time under Carlo Ancelotti as Moise Keane. And if Everton fans could wish anything, I think probably it would be a first goal for the club for Moise Keane, getting off the mark and up and running. Here's De Bruyne. High to the left-hand side for Mendy, watched by Sidibe, but he didn't get it. Mendy now, chance to cross, just takes a deflection and runs back for Fabian Delph. Delph then looking for the run out to the far side of Richarlison. Rodri just missed it initially, but he got enough of a touch on it to then turn back, get a second and give it to De Bruyne, and it's all safe and sound once again for Manchester City as we approach the midpoint of this second period. Yeah,
it's Richarlison who chased that long ball forward there by Everton, but he looks a real dejected figure today, Richarlison. Not engaged, not happy whatsoever. He's not had an awful lot of service, but at least he can do for his team is just absolutely run his socks off for the cause, but he does cut a very dejected, frustrated figure, like I say.
Digne gives it to Holgate, up to Richarlison into Digne, given away again. I'm not sure you'd say any of the Everton players played particularly well today.
No one's really stood out. Like I say,
done okay.
Yeah, no one's really stood out too well, have they?
De Bruyne, he's given the ball away to Richarlison, deep inside his own half, and it's the latest to give it away, straight at Gundogan in the centre circle. Moves it on to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne trying to slip in Gabriel Jesus. Holgate watched that carefully, slips it to Digne. Now here's Delph looked for a while that it was a loose touch, wasn't it? And then it allowed Cancelo in. Cancelo got a body ahead of Delph, who actually seemed to almost scissor the leg of Cancelo, and that could be really dangerous. I think he might be a bit fortunate perhaps that the referee didn't spot that motion. Might well have been a yellow card at least. In fact, it is a yellow card. Now he's finally got to his feet, Fabian Delph.
He'd committed himself to the challenge, Delph, and had gone to ground, and then Cancelo was too quick for him and got himself between him and the ball. And as you said, he continued with the challenge and that scissor movement.
They're really dangerous, those, can't they?
Well, they can be, but I think he probably hurt himself in the end on this occasion, probably more than João Cancelo. But
another goal in the game. David Moyes, incredible. As Claudio Bravo has it at the back here. Manchester City 2-0 up over Everton. Still 1-0 between Norwich and Crystal Palace. Everton tried to win the ball high up. It might run to Moise Keane. Goalkeeper Claudio Bravo comes. Don't think he needed to hack it away with his feet. Possibly had time to go with his hands.
He could have gone with his hands. That's what he's doing there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Everton have it back. Walcott can't keep possession for his team. Bravo will get it clear. Dominic Calvert-Lewin absolutely slid on him, and Bravo, Cruyff turned, but he's given the ball away to Moise Keane, bundling his way through in the box, might work its way to Walcott, deflected and touched toe, back post by Richarlison. Everton are back in. Manchester City 2, Everton 1. Who's dejected now?
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. a couple of mad minutes from Claudio Bravo. I don't know what he was doing. Like, first time he comes out, he clears his feet, which should use his hands, and then he tries to play out central for his box. He gets intercepted, given away, falls to Theo Walcott, who shoots on the angle, low and hard, gets a deflection, and Richarlison's completely free at the back post for a tap-in.
And to be fair to Richarlison, he showed great desire to win the ball back there. He just got enough of a foot on it from Bravo's clearance, and was there then to complete the move. And Manchester City's lead is halved.
Well, from looking incredibly comfortable, Man City, and just killing the game out, taking the sting out of it, I say a couple of moments of madness from Claudio Bravo, and suddenly they're in a real fight now. And we've not seen a lot of Everton as an attacking force, but they'll certainly get their tails up now, I'm sure, and go for it.
It was an easy finish for the Brazilian, who's now up to 7 goals in the Premier League this season, and is back to being one behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Manchester City, though, of course, do have a very strong bench should they feel the need to use it. They've given the ball away there. Digne's header away, though, will only find Rodri. Infield to De Bruyne. Now Ilkay Gundogan. 18 minutes left for play. Manchester City 2, Everton 1. Right hand side, cross comes in towards Jesus! Goalkeeper makes the save, bit awkward, but it comes out for Mina, and then Mina plays it off of the Brazilian. It's a throw into Everton at right back.
Again, another fantastic ball in, really good cross.
It was Joao Cancelo, wasn't it, that got the ball in, and I think Jesus might have been a bit surprised it came to him.
Well, it was. Mina should have got something on it and flicked it away to safety, but he misjudged it, missed the ball, and fair play to Jesus. He followed up and anticipated. It's a decent save from Pickford down his near post.
Benjamin Mendy to take the throw into Gabriel Jesus. Mendy, Gundogan, De Bruyne, first time to Mendy. Caught under his feet briefly, but he's turned away from Delph. Gives it to Garcia. First goal Manchester City have conceded in a game he started. De Bruyne gives it to Rodri. Now Joao Cancelo turns and faces Everton's goal about the halfway line. 2-1 Manchester City. At TalkSport Live to be in touch with us. Square ball cut out by Davis. Richarlison now, he is a bundle of energy. Gets it back to Digne. Dangerous pass out to Delph there, but it's got to him, and he's given it back to Digne. Digne then brought down by Joao Cancelo, and it's a free kick to Everton. Everton have it on the right hand side with Walcott to Yerry Mina. It's fair to say the change is one of the two changes at least has made a big difference for Everton, with Walcott involved in that goal. I think it was a shot, really, wasn't it, from Walcott, though, that ended up finding Richarlison?
Yeah, I think so. He fired it across low and hard. He got a big deflection actually off Mendy, which put it right into the path of Richarlison. But it's coming to him, it's fairly simple finish, I suppose, but it's coming to him a bit of pace, and he sort of side-footed up into the roof of the net. But they're not always that easy, though, because, like I say, coming to you so quick. But again, it was just shocking play from Claudio Bravo. Very, very poor decision making. It's put his team right under pressure now.
Tom Davis has given away a free kick for the foul on Phil Foden. I think it's fair to say that Phil Foden will have better games in what will no doubt go on to be a golden career for Manchester City. It's going to get into into a gritty mode now, though, for the final 15 or so, although his team are attacking here with Mendy. Mendy's ball floated towards Mahrez, watched carefully by Digne to get in there first. Gives it to Delph, gets it back to the Frenchman. Digne looks long, finds Richarlison down the left-hand side. Finally get it over the shoulder of Rodri. Richarlison left side of the 18-yard box. Turns back onto his right foot. Digne whips the ball in. Header away is by De Bruyne. First man at the edge of the 18-yard box. Only finds Delph, though. Here's Sidibe. Sidibe's ball into Moise Kean! Took it on the scissor and puts it wide.
Yeah, they certainly seem, since they've changed to playing a back four now, Everton, they certainly seem to be much more of an attacking threat. And that was that situation I was talking about where one striker can get in between the three centre backs and they all sort of leave it to each other. So Moise Kean completely unopposed. He went, it was a bit spectacular, sort of a side scissor kick, but half decent effort, good ball into him and a chance for Everton.
That one might have come off of Manchester City's player last, it hasn't it? It's a City throw. And does it surprise you that Manchester City have not gone for a more safe second choice goalkeeper than Claudio Bravo? I know he was brought in as a number one for big money, let's face it. It's Foden bundles his way through. He's got Jesus square, and the defender has got back and in Sidibe and made either an extraordinary tackle or one VAR will look at. Everton in the meantime clear. Dominic Calvert-Lewin chases Claudio Bravo. His starting position is good, and it's with Mendy on the left hand side. The City fans, you can hear, feel they should have had a penalty. I have to say my initial reaction was the same as the refs, that it wasn't a penalty. Did you feel the same, Kit Simons?
I did. I thought it was an excellent tackle, yeah. Foden sort of bundled his way through. I think he was more surprised than anyone else, and literally just as he's about to pull the trigger, Sidibe slides in and just looked like he got his toe to the ball, so it looked like very good defending to me.
Walcott manages to nick a ball quickly but can't thread it through to Calvert-Lewin. Mendy away to Gundogan. Suddenly we've got a real edge to this game. It's great. Left hand side, it's Gabriel Jesus. Just on the halfway line, gives it to De Bruyne. Jesus then makes a run in behind Sidibe, and De Bruyne, of course he's found him. Here's Jesus in the area. Unselfish cut back to Mahrez. Shot blocked to Gundogan. Finds itself back at Mahrez's feet though. Gundogan gives it to Mahrez. Here's Jesus, played onside awfully by Holgate, and he's absolutely smashed the post. That should have been game wrapped up. Holgate, I've no idea why he was so far behind the rest. Played Jesus onside, was clever enough to be aware of it, but then couldn't find the finish. And City still attack here with Mahrez on the left. He comes back to Gundogan. Gundogan up to Jesus in the area, tries to spin Holgate, loses his footing. Goodness me, analyse that, Kit Simons.
Some of his movement and his forward runs, Jesus, have been absolutely incredible today. Fantastic, but that last opportunity, as you say, Holgate had dropped far too deep, so he slid in. It's on a bit of an angle, but he can go across the goal, and he opts to go for the near post.
It's the same attempted finish as the one he scored earlier, wasn't it?
Pretty similar, but he smashes it against the post. I think if he goes across goal, he's not guaranteed to score, but got a far better chance. There's not an awful lot to aim at the near post. And he smashes it against the post, but his movement and his forward runs, playing on his shoulder, causing the Everton defence all sorts of problems.
It's away by Mendy to Foden on the left hand side. Phil Foden now moving infield, skips away from Delph, fouled by Davis. Free kick to Manchester City.
So he's certainly come to life, Phil Foden, after just saying about him having a fairly quiet game, really. He's really sort of got in the game. But bad tackle there from Tom Davis on field though.
Rightful yellow card for the bearded blonde. Merseyside born, wearing the captain's armband after Seamus Coleman went off. That's quite the accolade for someone so young, still just 21 years of age. I would have thought that the post that Gabriel Jesus just hit is still shaking. It was thunderous as David Silva is being readied for Manchester City, returning from an injury, that'll be. Might be given away there by Mendy. Keane just not quick enough to get there ahead of Eric Garcia.
Again, sloppy play from Man City and Mendy in particular. There's no need to do it. You've got to take care with this football now. 2-1 up. So you go into the last 10 minutes, look after the ball.
Absolutely. Here's De Bruyne. Comes back into the centre circle for Fernandinho. To the curial Belgian once more. Uses Garcia, young Spaniard. De Bruyne to Rodri. Right hand side, it's Joao Cancelo. To Mahrez, now De Bruyne just beginning to dictate play in that quarterback position. That pass took a deflection but still found its intended target in Mendy. De Bruyne, Foden, De Bruyne, Mahrez, quick around the edge of the 18-yard box. Jesus snapshot, really good parry away and pushed a long way as well by Pickford. Jesus, De Bruyne, looped ball to Cancelo on the right. Jesus spins right edge of the 18-yard box. Goes down under a challenge by Mina there. De Bruyne tries a shot. Deflects away for Everton. Won again by Rodri. Will fall to Theo Walcott. Gabriel Jesus is down on the right edge of the Everton box. They're just going to continue. The referee's not telling them they have to play. Have to stop, and now he does. And Gabriel Jesus will be able to receive some treatment now. As and when the referee has determined that's going to be allowed to happen.
It looked like a bit of a late challenge from Mina after he played the ball. He sort of came in, it looks fairly innocuous. He came in from the back, Mina, and certainly made contact. Little knock in the ribs, but it didn't look like it was bad enough for all this. But he clearly looks in a bit of pain, Jesus.
Yeah. He won't want to be taken off, knowing that there's a potential hat-trick on the horizon. But I'll tell you who is going to be taken off. You might have just heard the announcer name there. It's Phil Foden, whose night is over. And coming on for him, the club captain, David Silva. As we count down, this is his final 5 months in a Manchester City shirt. Bar a late change of heart, he will be leaving the club at the end of the season after what has been quite an extraordinary career since arriving in the early part of the previous decade. David Silva, now 33, back after injury, picked up in the game against Manchester United that of course they lost. They have got 3 more Manchester derbies to come before the end of the season, at least, of course, because they've got 2 in the League Cup semi-final and still 1 more league game as well as Everton go long. Oh, how's Calvert-Lewin got so much space? He's got inside of Benjamin Mendy. Manchester City got some bodies back. Davis spins the ball towards the back post with Charlatan fighting for it, and it's nodded behind by Joao Cancelo. Corner to Everton. For a moment there I thought Calvert-Lewin had all the time in the world to bring the ball down and potentially get a shot on goal, but his first touch just took him away.
Yeah, a long diagonal ball, he was straight in, Calvert-Lewin, and as you say, a better first touch, and that's a goal scoring opportunity. Mendy didn't tuck in enough, he's got to tuck round there.
Digne takes the corner, outswinger towards Tom Davis, who gets his head on it but puts it wide. I guess that's that difference, isn't it, almost between, I don't know, they're still playing this 3 at the back, but briefly it looked like a 4, and he was able to take advantage of that extra space.
Well, that's right, even then, like, the wing backs have still got a responsibility to tuck round and defend the back post. If one of the centre backs on Rodri on this occasion got dragged out into midfield, so you almost do just become an orthodox back 4 then. But like I say, the opposite furthest away wing back has got to tuck in and defend that back post, and he didn't do it there, and it nearly very costly.
Pep Guardiola in his trendy combat trousers and black bomber jacket, much more animated on the touchline than perhaps his side's performance should really be necessary, because they, over the balance, have been far better than Everton, but it is still just 2-1. Ball drops in midfield. Yerry Mina was given the freedom of the City to get his head to it. He headed it full, boomed away by Manchester City. Everton throw that.
Well, as you said, Everton weren't really posing any threat going forward. They changed the shape, formation, but they'd only just done that. It still hadn't looked really like any threat. And then Claudio Bravo, just like I say, moment of madness, well, a couple of moments of madness that led to the goal, and now Everton have got the wind in their sails, and their tails up, and they're having a bit of a go. it's a lot more awkward and nervy for Man City now than it needed to be.
Everton have only had away points this season against Crystal Palace, Southampton, Manchester United and Newcastle. Can they earn a late one here against Manchester City? 2-1 down still. Ooh, that looked like a nasty tackle by Calvert-Lewin. He got the ball, but again another sort of scissors motion there, and he was definitely off the ground. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think he's only going to get a yellow here, but I've certainly seen stronger given for that. Interesting to see what Kit Simons thinks.
Yeah, no, Beaver, I think he's like, he's gone through, he's got the ball, he's gone through the man a little bit, so I think he's caught Fernandinho a bit first, so it's definitely a yellow card, but his feet are low. I don't think there's any more than that.
And to be fair, although I say he was off the ground, one of his legs was definitely bent behind him, wasn't it? So
it's a little bit of frustration, also a little bit, come on boys, let's have a right good go here for the last 5 minutes plus time added on, so trying to get his team going, and certainly was fouled and a yellow card, but no worse than that.
Fair enough. Claudio Bravo is going to clear this one away, and I think what's notable now about Claudio Bravo is, well, usually they pass it out, don't they, but that was a very long one that Gabriel Jesus has flicked on, and then he'll chase his own flick.
He
might get a bit of fortune there. He has
done that for the goal.
It's dropped for David Silva. Silva tackled by Holgate, throw into Manchester City.
Yeah, it's times to play out, and Man City look to play out the majority of the time, and that's fine, that's good. They've got players good enough to do that, but what he tried to do was to play a straight one. When there's players around, Richarlison read it, got a nick on it, and suddenly they're in a whole world of pain he's created for his team, but he didn't need to at all.
And this is a free kick, in fact. I'm not quite sure what the referee spotted. There has been another goal in the game between Norwich and Crystal Palace. We'll get you details of that shortly. It's going to be this free kick, though, on the left-hand side, which De Bruyne takes. I think it was flipped over the bar by an Everton player, was it? Sidibe maybe got the final touch. Corner to Manchester City.
So difficult to defend those balls coming in from De Bruyne, when he really whips them with pace.
He takes this corner, but it's short to Mahrez. Comes back to Mendy. Mendy slips in De Bruyne again on the left. Now Silva. De Bruyne. Back to Silva. De Bruyne. Glad to see David Silva's grown his hair again. Didn't like that shaved style that he had earlier in the season. It was not becoming, in my humble opinion. Is De Bruyne. Don't seem to have an opinion on that one, Kit.
I'm keeping that one.
Mina has it at the back for Everton. Comes across to Holgate. Plenty of space for him to move out of defence for the Toffee. Slips it up over the halfway line, left of the centre circle for Richarlison. Now here's Digne. Back to Holgate. Mina. Defensive point for the centre circle. Comes across to Sidibe. Now here's Walcott. Looped balls really right, but they get a bit of fortune. Garcia has done something with his ankle as he hacked that ball away. It was almost a bit of an air kick. He'll be okay, gets back to his feet. Manchester City will defend this Everton throw.
He's trying to claim a free kick from a tackle from Calvert-Lewin, but Andre Mariner having none of it.
Sidibe gets it back to Mina. Spreads play low across the centre circle to Holgate. Mason Holgate uses Mina once more. Forward ball, that's better by Mina. It didn't quite find its target, but the clearance finds Tom Davis. Davis moves himself down to the right hand side, gets it back to Sidibe. Walcott available as well. Davis, Sidibe, Davis. Frenchman once more onto his left foot. That's a lovely high ball out to the left hand side for Digne. That's a back pedal to control it. Gets it back from Richarlison. Tackle comes in by Joao Cancelo, and he's done really well there. For someone who perhaps we've questioned his defensive instincts at times in this game, he's managed to slide that one back off of Digne, and into the final minute of the 90 we go, with Manchester City having this goal kick.
Everton do look better since they've gone to a back four, though, to be honest. Certainly more of an attacking threat. So Lucas Digne was playing as a wing back. You would expect him to have more freedom to get forward. Didn't really in that playing that way, but since they've gone to back four and he's playing as Northcott's left back, he's got forward a lot more. So whether it might be a little bit they're losing the game obviously and chasing a little bit more as well, I don't know, but it certainly seems to suit them a bit better, this shape of formation.
Bravo's clearance fell only to Everton, and here's Dominic Calvert-Lewin up against Garcia. Sidibe is poor from him. It's elect to keep it back in though, instead of taking the throw when it came off of Garcia. 4 minutes of stoppage time left for play. Still haven't managed to get you to that goal between Norwich and Crystal Palace. We'll do that in a moment as Holgate gives the ball away high up the field. Here's De Bruyne to David Silva. I think we might just about have time to do it now. Let's go to the game between Norwich and Crystal Palace.
Falls to Milivojevic on the edge of the box. A shot is blocked from 20 yards. It's back towards the substitute, the young player Pierrick. Now Zaha. Zaha in the box. Zaha across the face of goal, and it's been turned in from close range by Connor Wickham, but the flag on the far side says offside.
Yeah, it did, but it has stood. It is Connor Wickham who scored that goal for Crystal Palace. He's been there forever, hasn't he, Crystal Palace? It's 2-1 here, a minute of stoppage time gone. David Silva on the right for Manchester City. Gives it to Mahrez. Mahrez infield to Gundogan. Gundogan works it right again. Here's Silva. Manchester City feel like they might have seen out Everton now. This element of control they have when they're in possession. Fernandinho to the right for Joao Cancelo. Rodri. De Bruyne. Rodri manages to get the ball forward, but only to Mason Holgate. Back to the goalkeeper Pickford. No time to waste. He just smacks that one away. Moise Keane wanted it the most. Jumps highest. Sidibe fouled by Mahrez, and Raheem Sterling's going to come on for the final couple of minutes, really just to tick down the clock here.
Yeah, like I say, Everton won't mess about now. Certainly they'll be looking to get the ball into the Man City box at every opportunity, going straight for Calvert-Lewin, you would imagine, and people working in and around him, Moise Keane, Charlison, and hope something falls from one of them.
Sterling comes on for Riyad Mahrez. You and I had a heated discussion at half-time, didn't we, about whether Riyad Mahrez is really that tip-top level that City are looking for, but I think the man that come on is, we'd both agree, absolutely sensational recently. As Everton managed to get the ball in the Man City box, Mina tries to force it back in there. It's cleared away, but only as far as Sidibe. Spot the ball up to the far side. Digne is going to make it there, and there's a couple to aim for, and that's gone behind for the corner, and the Everton fans, who he's right in front of, are delighted at that, thinking that in this final minute of stoppage time they might nick a late point. Corner to Everton.
Well, Joao Cancelo having a bit of a grizzle to Andre Mariner there. The ball was played in his direction, and Richarlison just stood his ground and blocked him, and the ball went over his head, and then Everton were able to win the corner. But going into the final minute now, and here's a corner for Everton. So Man City will have to be on their game. Will need a good delivery. Theo Walcott's gone out to that left-hand side to take it, so it'll be an in-swinging corner.
Yeah, it would have been a corner quicker than this had it not been for the Manchester City fans who were just refusing to give the ball back away to our right. Here comes Theo Walcott then. Needs to be a good one. Here's the delivery. Away by De Bruyne at the near post. Sterling will chase after it. Digne gets there ahead of him. Gives it back to Delph. Picks his head up, delivers it forward. Header away by Fernandinho. Manchester City might break here. That was a foul by Delph. Surely no. Not a foul on Jesus. Sidibe, I think, was surprised by that, and it allowed a tackle to come in, but Sterling's given it away this time. But that is a foul by Holgate on De Bruyne, and it's a free kick for Manchester City, and I think they've probably just about ridden out the Everton storm.
That's right, they just need to keep the ball now for a few seconds, and they're going to be getting the final whistle for Andre Mariner. So a deserved win in the end, but they made it a lot harder than they needed to. do with conceding that very sloppy goal, which gave Everton a bit of belief and a bit of a chance.
De Bruyne's ball forward, there goes the final whistle. Pep Guardiola beats Carlo Ancelotti for the first time, but his side managed to make heavy weather of a match that they were generally the stronger of the two in. The goals coming from Gabriel Jesus, both of them in the 15 minutes after half-time. Richarlison's strike made it a little bit tighter, but on balance it has to be said, Manchester City comfortable winners. It's finished at the Etihad, Manchester City 2, Everton 1, here on Premier League Live. I don't think it's performances like that that are going to get Manchester City anywhere near a title race, is it? They need to be better than that, or am I being harsh?
No, I think so. Yeah, they played well, and they were the better side without a doubt, but just making mistakes like that, letting Everton back in the game, is not what you would expect for a title-winning team.
How good is Gabriel Jesus potentially? Is he Aguero levels of goals as and when the Argentine starts to slow down?
I think could be, yeah. He's only obviously a young player at the moment, but he's getting better and better all the time, and his movement, second half especially, was phenomenal today, playing off the shoulder. I mean, Everton looked a little bit ragged at times defensively second half, when they looked quite solid first half, but his movement and his forward runs are brilliant, the timing of his runs, and he's obviously a lethal finisher. I mean, should have ended up on a hat-trick today.
Yeah. And what about Everton? You know, Carlo Ancelotti, first defeat for him as Everton boss. No shame, let's face it, in losing away at Manchester City. You know, on their day we know how good they can be. One more game, he says, before he starts looking at the transfer window, and that's Liverpool in the FA Cup. I mean, it doesn't get much more difficult than that, but equally better form. Where would you, just very briefly, be looking if they do want to enter into the market in January?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's saying, everyone spoke about another striker for Everton for a long time, but he's come out and saying great things about Calvert-Lewin, certainly at the moment. Richarlison is an excellent player, as we know, so I still think possibly that could be an area, if they look to get someone in, it will probably be up front, but he seems to be quite happy at the moment.
Okay, many thanks to Ket Simons, who was alongside myself, Toby Gillis, for Manchester City 2, Everton 1. We still have one more game to bring you. Coming up, Arsenal against Manchester United. But thanks for listening to this as Manchester City narrow the gap at the top.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on TalkSport.
He'd like to build the world a bar and furnish it with booze, with champagne trees and cocktail bees and fountains of home brew. He'd like to buy the world a drink.
Cheers!
A bottle of Chablis, a whiskey sour at happy hour. A magnum of Polly, that's the Brazil thing.
I'm in a wine bar.
It's the real thing.
What's wrong with that?
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
The morning pickup that refreshes the parts other breakfast shows just can't reach.
Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Spitspot.
It's a classic afternoon radio emission from the other side. Hawksby and Jacobs deceased. After a joke about Chelsea went catastrophically wrong and died, Andy Jacobs was transported to a parallel lunchtime netherworld.
Only you can hear me, Paul. Only you.
Only me and 3 million listeners, Andy.
Banished to spend eternity wearing white suits, unearthing spectacularly big-named interviews, and bringing a new spectral dimension to radio entertainment.
And occasionally materialising in ladies' changing rooms.
That was a genuine mistake. I thought it was the kebab shop next door.
Investigate the annals of Hawksby and Jacobs deceased. Weekday afternoons from 1
I'm gone, what does it matter?
on TalkSport.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
This is the time of the year where you've got to have your horses right.
Weekday mornings from 6
You backed them on the nose.
on Talk Sport.
I'm Sam Matterface, and this is Game Day. TalkSport has your weekend covered as we give you a series of exclusive podcasts bringing you total coverage of the Premier League with a trio of top podcasts. On Thursday, myself and a legendary lineup of pros and pundits will preview the action to all 10 Premier League matches.
On Saturday, it's Your Verdict with me, Laura Woods, and Adrian Durham, bringing you all the reaction and the very best of the phone-in.
On Monday morning, it's the turn of the record book with me, Danny Kelly. I'll be joined by the very best guests as we look back at all the weekend's action, going down the odd tangent as well.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. My, oh my, what a beautiful day.